guess I'm going to throw it over to Lorena. Do you want to just go ahead into unfinished business?
Yeah, we can just start rolling on that. So,
Yep, perfect.
all right, update on Bollinger Park Phase 1. The site plan is up for approval at the June 22nd Planning Commission meeting. The property was posted on June 2nd for the meeting and the potential site plan approval. And then it was shared out and posted all over Facebook, everywhere. So everyone should be aware that the property was posted. And the meeting is on the 22nd, and that's a forum also for public comment.
What time does that start? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I believe that is 7, I believe. Yeah.
Thank you.
I will be in attendance, just in case there are any questions or comments the commission or public may have that Daryl and Jim would prefer for me to answer or speak about. The RFP, assuming that site plan approval is given by the commission, the RFP will be released this month with the bid due date of July 22nd, and we're still on track to break ground this fall. So that'll be exciting. We'll try to get as much done clearing wise and trail prep wise before the winter weather shuts us down.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the rubberized trail service cannot be poured until the spring to the warmer temperatures. So let's see, update on park improvements, general park improvements. The fence behind Food Lion at Roberts Mill Park has been installed, and it looks great. When future budget funds are available, I'd like to finish it, continue it on down from where it stops, where the Food Lion curb starts, and then take it all the way down to the property line, just to keep it, uniform there. It's pretty. As the new aluminum athletic benches are out there at those fields. They look great, much better than the old warped wooden ones that were well worn. The dugouts at THS Park are finished, so softball has some nice dugouts down on the 2 lower fields.
They're beautiful, by the way.
They do look nice.
Public Works did that?
They did.
They did an awesome job.
They did.
Again,
Yeah.
kudos to Public Works.
Indeed,
So,
indeed.
yeah.
Now, the Monarchs do want to paint them in their colors, black and orange, so, and I agreed to that with their colors, so, but with the understanding that then they're responsible for the maintenance of that paint. They buy the paint, they
upkeep.
paint them,
Yep.
and they,
Okay.
if there's graffiti or what have you, they have to go out there and cover that up. So that's the trade-off for their colors. New trash cans are going up various locations in Memorial Park and Roberts Mill Park, which is very exciting because they're replacing those old brown composite things that have been knocked around by the mowers and people. So these new trash cans are black steel. They're very sturdy. They look just like the one that's out here on the street in front of City Hall. Okay. So very decorative, very sturdy. And as more budget funds are available, then we'll continue to order more and replace them at the other locations. So at Roberts Mill, we replaced the ones around the pond. We'll have to get to the fields later when we have more money. And at Memorial Park, there have been a few that have been replaced. And then as soon as the tennis court project is done, we're going to put a new one between the courts there as well. So
You
that'll
said,
look
are
nice.
we getting any at Taneytown High School?
Yes, well, we actually, I'm holding off until the skate park project is
Okay,
done,
okay.
and then I'm putting a new one there. And then, this is really exciting, I got a frog one for the playground. Yeah,
cute.
just because, Beth's got a look on her face like, oh, no. It's blue and green, and it matches the colors of the playground.
The mouth is the trash can?
Yes, it is. And it says, feed me litter or something like that. I love litter or something like that. So I thought it was cute for the kids, so there we go.
That is cute.
Yeah. Let's see what else. Some of the fencing at Memorial Park's going to be replaced in July. So as soon as that July 1st budget kicks in, long fence is coming out. They've already slated it for July 6th. So they're not wasting any time. They're gonna get out there. That's gonna be Field 1 infield fencing, and then Field 3, the backstop, infield, and the outfield. So Field 3 is getting completely redone. Field 1, just the infield. And then as future budget funds come in, we'll replace other fences out there as we can get to them. But those were the worst, so. And then I'm hoping to get Rodkey to schedule our additional lighting for the Roberts Mill Park fields in July as well. Definitely in August, so that way they are up and running for soccer's fall season, because that will enable them to play more games, more practices at those fields. And, because their program has grown so much, they are already at Roberts Mill, Northwest, Middle, and they're having to use THS Park again, still. So, but they and softball have worked out a good timeshare for the fields for fall ball and everything, so that's good. Update on capital improvement program. The resolution for that was adopted at the June 8th council meeting. So we are set on our capital improvement projects until the year 2028. We need to follow that timeline unless something, you never know what could happen, but that's the plan, to follow that guideline that we all created together. Update on 2022 events. Something new for the summer that I'm kind of excited about is a Movies in the Park series. Carroll Arts Council reached out and said that they wanted to do something like that here in Taneytown. And then simultaneously, a group in Taneytown and surrounding community called Taneytown Men of Faith, it's a men's ministry group, reached out about the same thing. So I said, well, let's put the two together, because the Men of Faith have the movie screen and all the equipment, and Carroll Arts Council is paying for the movie licenses. So it's a good partnership. And then we're providing the space in Memorial Park. So those will be shown on July 2nd, July 23rd, and August 13th. And this is just a bring your chair and blankets, have a seat, enjoy the movie. July 2nd movie is Luca. The Wizard of Oz is going to be playing on July 23rd. And then the August 13th movie will be Encanto. So I'm hoping that they get a really good response with families coming out for that. The yoga classes are kicking off next Tuesday evening, also at Memorial Park, starting at 6 p.m., and they'll run until August 30th. The tennis clinics are going to run again this year. That's going to be the week of August 8th. And this is exciting too. I've been in discussion with a basketball coach who wants to run a basketball camp this summer on Saturday mornings. Yeah, so that's another great offering for our community's youth to do something and develop those, not just basketball skills, but all the other skills that, they can develop with teamwork and stuff. So more details on that to follow, because they're still in the development stage right now. And I think it would be a great opportunity too to showcase our improved basketball court. Woohoo! Yeah. So the Independence Day celebration's coming up July 3rd with a rain date of July 5th. That kicks off at 6 o'clock, and we're gonna have a DJ, some games, food trucks, and of course the fireworks, probably around 9:30, whenever it gets dark enough to fire those off. The food trucks are It's All Good, Tycho Seafood and Barbecue, which was formerly known as Cole's Concessions, and the Lions Club. And then we'll have Kona Ice and the Cow for sweet treats, milkshakes and ice cream and ice and stuff. Harvest Fest. I've already sent out advance invitations to our previous event vendors, Harvest Fest and Wine Festival vendors, to give them a head start. So I'm going to give them a couple of weeks, and then I'm going to put out the general call for vendors. And the deadline for that registration is September 2nd, since Harvest Fest is on September 24th. And additional miscellaneous updates. I'm just going to put out a reminder. You all got the invitation via email that the grand opening or the kickoff of the Story Stroll at Memorial Park is this Saturday at 10 a.m. It looks like the weather's going to be good this time. So I'll be there. I'm going to take some pictures and we'll try to get those out in the Taneytown Record. So those stations, there are 20 stations. They start at the big playground, and then they just wind their way around various stations throughout that area, over across the path around the Neos and the rock climbing, around the trees a little bit, and then it kind of winds its way back and ends again at the big playground. And the library's gonna change those out, I think monthly, with different stories. And each station has a page of the book, and then with like a little guide sheet of what kind of activities, the kids can do to, that correlates to the story. Yeah, so hopefully that will, spur some interest in reading, and especially summer reading. So the families that were out there already playing on the playground while we were, kind of coordinating the final touches and the page installations on them, we're really excited about it. So that's good. I hope that it's well used and that it remains as they look now, instead of,
Visualized, yeah.
right, indeed. As we know, school is out now, so it's gonna start up, unfortunately. So we're just hoping that those can at least last a season. That would be nice. That's all I have for unfinished business. Any questions for me?
Awesome.
Maybe it's loud. Phew.
A lot of
Yeah.
unfinished
We've got a lot
business.
going on, yeah, for sure.
Anybody have any questions for Lorena?
I know you said it's in the development phase, but the potential basketball camps not on Saturday mornings, are they looking at a specific age group, or are they just kind of?
I think he's gonna have various.
Okay.
I think it's gonna be, a certain, like we run the tennis clinics where it's, this camp is for this age group, and then this camp is for that age group, kind of thing. So I don't have the exact time details on how the coach is gonna structure that, but that's his concept, is to offer it for various ages, but keep the ages,
Separated.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, a little bit easier that way for them. Yeah.
No, the only, well, hold on. No, I think I'm good. I was gonna ask a question, but I think I'm good. All right. We're good.
Okay.
All right. Besides, there are a ton of events to do this summer.
Right.
So,
Yes,
thank you
indeed.
so much,
Right.
Lorena, for
Yeah.
making that happen and talking to others and coordinating. And so we do have a lot of activity
We
going on,
do, we
you know.
do. I don't want to hear anyone say or post on Facebook, there's nothing to
they're
do in
bored.
Taneytown.
Yeah. Okay.
It's
Well, they're
there,
bored.
people,
Right.
we're just not going to come to your house and pick you up and bring you to it. You gotta at least meet us halfway and actually come to these events.
And did you need help with did you need help for July 3rd? Did you need help?
I don't think so, since we're keeping that simple.
Okay.
I'm gonna be there a little bit before 6. I know Tyco or Coles, they're gonna come in a little bit before, because they've got to get their grill going, the smoker and all that kind of stuff. But that's pretty much it. The food trucks are gonna roll in. Dave with Fun Events is gonna come set up and be the DJ, and they're gonna set up a couple of games. I think I have cornhole and, a couple of others like that. Just something simple.
Okay.
Yeah, just to kind of keep people entertained until the main event, so,
Perfect.
yeah. But no, thank you for offering though, but no, I think we're good to go with that. That's gonna be an easy one.
Yep.
Oh, and I forgot too, in July, the July 22nd Family Fun Food Truck Friday. That's right.
Yay.
Which is the Friday night before the July 23rd movie. So weekend's gonna be busy too with a
Is
lot
this our
going on. in the
third
park.
year doing it?
It is, because we were able to run it in 2020 during COVID.
Yeah.
We put all the protocols in place and
Yes,
we
you did.
got it approved by the health department so that we were able to do that. This will be our third year. And that'll have the usual pony rides, petting zoo, and, games and bounce houses and all that kind of good stuff. Yeah, yep. And a
you have
DJ.
Okay, and you'll
Yeah,
have
we'll
a
have the
flyer
music.
that's going out.
Oh,
for that
yes,
soon. Okay.
yes, yep. So I've got some food trucks lined up for that, as well as for subsequent Fridays. So I'll continue to work on that to fill in those, get a couple different food trucks. I know sometimes it's not easy for the subsequent Fridays because we don't have the entertainment draw there. And it's not like it's in the middle of town, like at Taneytown Liquors or down at Brewery Fire, where people want to kind of go, on a Friday night anyway, kind of thing. So it's kind of hard to get people, with that in their mindset of, oh yeah, I want to run down to Memorial Park and get whatever, from the food truck. But we'll see. We'll do everything we can to publicize that, of course. So
Okay. All right, well then, moving on.
yeah.
New business, so I guess it's a lot of post-event discussion.
It is indeed. So I'll go ahead and start off with that with the fishing derby. So our total registration was 67. We had 67 kids, 15 and under, join us. Last year's number was 90, but I think that's because there were less things going on last year. A lot of things still hadn't
It was
opened
right
up.
after the COVID, like, yeah.
Right, yeah. Some of the restrictions still hadn't been lifted or anything
And
like
we
that.
changed dates too.
We did, we bumped it up a little bit earlier, but I mean, while we were there, I know we saw, Kelly, you and I saw a lot of kids going, up to soccer, to play soccer. So this year we have the sports organizations in full swing now and stuff. So I think 67 is still a pretty good number considering all of that.
That is an excellent
Yeah.
number just compared to even years prior to COVID. So
Right.
that was awesome.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I
glad
thought it was
kids are
pretty
getting
good.
involved. Yeah.
And the park, of course, the pond and everything was beautiful. That fountain was going and, it was on a safe pathway. So everything was really
Oh, it
good.
looks great.
Yes, yeah, that went well. The Wine, Art, and Music Festival, not as well attended as last year, but again, that's partially due to more things going on, COVID restrictions having completely lifted, and also the heat. I think the heat played a huge factor in that. It was just, we thought May, the weather would be a little bit cooler, but no. At least it didn't rain, so that's good, I guess. So I think that the beverage vendors did okay because the people who were coming were definitely coming to, taste. They were going to have that tasting experience, and for the band. But I think the craft vendors, all the feedback that I was getting from the craft vendors, some of them did well, and others just did not do well at all. Like, it was hardly worth their time to come out in the heat and set up.
wow.
Yeah. So,
Toward the end, as I was making my stroll around the
Yeah.
grounds, I spoke to a lot of the beverage vendors. They were all, yeah, we're doing okay. But they also let me know that they understood the heat and the fact that you had the Columbia going at the same time.
wine in the woods, yeah,
They said,
yeah.
all
So,
things they were telling me generally,
yeah.
all things considered, we did pretty well.
Right, yeah. So I think maybe we want to consider offering 3 tickets next year. The VIP, because I think that was well received.
I think the VIP was
Yes.
very well
Very well
received.
It was.
received.
I think,
People were thrilled to get their little goodie bag.
right, exactly. The general admission and then a non-tasting admission so that people can just go in, do their shopping, so the craft vendors do a little bit better. And then some of those people may decide, oh, you know what, I love that winery. I'm gonna go get my my wristband, and pay, the difference or what have you. So, everybody's got a copy of the cost sheet. I think, we did well. We came out ahead, which is very good compared to last year's event when we didn't have any funds budgeted for the event because we didn't know we would be doing it. And then the expenses were just so high. And that was as a result of having the 3 different bands
Yeah.
and just everything. It was brand new for us, so we had to buy
Just
everything.
didn't know how to gauge it, really,
Exactly.
honestly. So
Right, indeed. So now we're a little bit,
we have
more
2
experienced.
under our belt now.
That's right.
So now we can figure
Yeah.
out, like, I think
Great.
when we meet again, I mean, would it be a good idea to start talking more specifics again, like what worked, what didn't?
yes. I think we will have, we can probably do a workshop in maybe at the September meeting.
Okay,
Because I'm going to start putting together, again, that vendor registration form, the flyers. I'm going to start contacting the wineries, et cetera. So we'll need to have that model in place
right.
for that.
Earlier the better, yep. you got it.
Exactly. So we'll do that September.
If the other locales are agreeable, find out when they're having things in our window.
Yeah, I try that, definitely. You can
it's
do it even in a year in advance and there's nothing out there, or no, it's
We did
whatever.
that,
But
yeah.
then you pick that date and you're rolling with it, and then all of a sudden, oh, well, now that other date has been set and publicized, and it just happens to be our week, or what have you. But we do the best we can.
A letter may be able to be written where it says, this is the date we are considering. Are you agreeable to move, if you schedule your event, are you agreeable to not schedule this?
That weekend, right? That would be nice, but some won't, and
Some won't be agreeable, that's
yeah.
for sure,
Yeah.
but
I mean, wine in the woods are time, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah,
I
those
mean,
things are
you
like
know what I-
traditional, like they're
nothing
huge and they are
against
not going to
Taneytown,
move.
but you know
Right.
you're gonna get a major draw
Right.
at wine in the woods.
Exactly,
I mean, that's
indeed.
just obvious for
Yeah.
them. They're gonna make more money and that's the bottom line. and
Right,
they-
indeed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
And Lorraine, I did want to comment as well, just piggybacking on what you guys mentioned. Working the entryway with the cash
Yes.
tickets and everything.
Yeah.
We did notice a few people that would kind of come up and they'd be interested in maybe going in and looking at the vendors.
Right.
But then that ticket price would turn them away because they weren't planning on drinking.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
then I know it's kind of like one of those double-edged sword type things with the food trucks as well.
Mm-hmm.
The food trucks sometimes draw people to the event area.
Right.
But because we have that outside of like the access point, they
Right.
don't necessarily need to enter the actual event.
Exactly.
To benefit from
Right.
that. So just something to consider. I know, that's
Yeah.
always a nice option to kind of have that going on and still bring people
Right.
towards the park.
Yeah.
But in terms of like revenue and ticket sales, maybe finding a way that we could kind of make that like, hey, you have to come in.
Right.
And then, like you said, whether we're doing a third ticket price, maybe that's just like a shopping and
Right.
food price or something
Right,
like that,
exactly, yeah.
might be a good consideration. That
Yeah.
way, anyone who's coming through, they can't necessarily get around on the
Right, I know. And the thing is that, I'd love to have the food trucks inside. We could have the room in there, but I just don't want the big trucks or trailers on the athletic field, just in case, I want to preserve that turf, as best we can. And obviously, that's the reason for the vendors even come in, drop your stuff, get that vehicle off, go park it elsewhere.
We've thrown it around, but as far as like where you would put everything, but have the vendors outside of the fence and just do the
Right.
drinking inside the
Right.
football field.
Exactly.
But still be able to have people come in and shop and get the food trucks.
Right.
And maybe talk to the food trucks about, getting some kind of kickback, what I'm saying, from
Right.
their sales of the day.
Right.
I don't know.
I also think we need to be very careful how we word the band contract because they got a whole lot of people in for free. Like, I thought that it was a ridiculous number.
Right.
And I know that it was in their contract, but they definitely abused that privilege, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, we're going to be going with someone new. So I'm already looking at various entertainers. Now the word is out about us and our events. I'm getting a lot of people just, like cold calling me, so to speak. Hey, are you considering any entertainers for your upcoming events? And I take a look at them, and unfortunately for 2022, we're already booked up. But I do tell them, we are booked up for 2022. But I'll keep your information on file for our future events. So, and that's good to have that resource already in place to determine, these people are really good, and what are your rates, and go from there or whatever. But yeah, that is
And
definitely
essentially, they
something.
came in for free and bought food from the food trucks, and we got nothing out of it.
Right.
And
Right.
there was a lot of them.
Yeah.
A lot. It
Yeah.
wasn't like just the band members.
Right,
was not just
exactly, exactly, yes, so that is definitely something, and last year's as well, because we had 3 different bands,
Yeah.
they all had,
All wanted-
right,
yeah.
and they were all, 2 of them were run by the same agent. The agent brokered both of those, so he had that clause in
Right.
both of their
And I
contracts.
think it'd be fine
you
if
know?
it was just the band members.
Right,
But they kind of
But it
had
was the
a
band members and
following.
their significant.
Mhm,
yeah.
each band
It was
member
just-
had a plus
seemed
one.
like a
yeah.
significant number.
Yeah. So we'll definitely be taking a
Right,
look
we
at that.
also
for
need to
future
make clear
contracts.
for our vendors too, that just because you're a vendor, you don't get to,
Right.
Yeah,
sample. for-
right,
Because
exactly.
I had a couple people ask, like, isn't that part of it? And I'm like,
Yeah.
we did that for everybody, why are
Right.
we having a wine fest?
Why would we
So,
charge a
I
vendor
mean,
fee?
Not to be
Free, right.
rude, not to be rude at
Right.
all, but I was like, if
Yeah.
we did that, that's all that we would be here for is
Right.
for you guys. So,
Yeah,
I mean, we
exactly.
have to make something,
Right. Indeed.
whatever.
Yeah. And that's where the Harvest Fest is different as well, because we budget more funds for that, knowing that, okay, we are paying for a band, pony rides, petting zoo, and, the only revenue that we're bringing in are those vendor fees, the craft vendor fees. So we know that it's not gonna be an event that pays for itself. The city is paying for that, for the community. But on that flip side, it's probably better for the craft vendors because people, oh yeah, it's free. They all flock there, especially with the kids and the pony rides and all that
Absolutely.
draw. And then they're checking out those vendors, and especially the time of year, people get an early start on holiday shopping. So that I think is a more lucrative event for the craft vendors. Yeah. Okay, so then I think we've covered the wine festival. So we'll definitely focus on that more in September, at the September meeting.
Okay.
We'll just run through some quick updates, and then we'll do like a work session on that.
Okay.
All right. Memorial Day ceremony and parade, everything went really well. The ceremony was lovely. It really was. And the parade was, I think, we had a really good number of participants. Some really cool vehicles in there, and the sports organizations and everything, and a decent number of spectators on the side too. For Memorial Day, a lot of people are out of town or busy or whatever, so that was really good. And I want to thank the police department and Public Works for helping to coordinate that parade, because that took a lot of manpower out on the roads and closing roads and all of that kind of stuff. And also Public Works for helping set up for the ceremony, put out all the chairs and the podium and all that. So that was good. I think that, like I said, went very well, and the weather cooperated with us for that also. So that's it. That's all I have on the post-event discussions. Anybody have any questions on any of that? I think we're good? Okay.
I just wanted to say Public Works, again, rock stars.
Definitely.
Because they did some crazy things even prior to our wine fest.
Yes. Right.
So, really, they've gone above and beyond.
Oh, they always do, for
And
sure.
I can't thank them enough for
Well, and that's the
all
thing,
of
they are like the unsung heroes, because people
right.
don't see them working behind the scenes. They can see the police officers out because they're out and about in the vehicles and their uniforms and such, what have you. But everything that Public Works, everything that department does is just incredible. And I've often said, if people could take a ride around with them for one day, they would truly be amazed. I mean, especially in the weather conditions. That's,
Yeah,
that's tough.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Those are the folks who make the world go around.
that's right.
That's true.
All right, so is it okay, go ahead and move on? We're moving on.
Go ahead.
Discussion of Roberts Mill Park Dog Park. I know this has been looked forward to for a long time, so we've got it in the budget. We're gonna do some basics. And I've got a general idea of where this can be placed in Roberts Mill Park that doesn't, go into the middle of a big stormwater downflow that's gonna wash everything away, and it's still gonna be convenient for people. So I'm thinking of the area that's between the small parking lot and the small pavilion and the woods. So we've got some tree plantings up there, but up in that area. Now, I'm not gonna know the exact site layout to put it on paper until Public Works and I go out there and we determine where exactly it can go. So then, once we do that, then I'll go ahead and apply for the city's fence permit, because we abide by our own rules. So the fence permit application will be put in, and that'll require a site, location. But it's definitely gonna have two sections, one for big dogs, one for small dogs. It's gonna have dog waste stations, of course, gotta have those. It's gonna have signage, the rules. And I want like the main entrance where you go in, and then it's almost like a holding corral, if you will. And then you have the separate entrances to big and small. I just think that, in all my research, that seems like a better plan just for people to get in and out, kind of thing. And it also, if a dog gets away from its owner, and starts to head out, it, like I said, it's that holding corral. They're stopped there before they run off to the pond or out on Stumptown Road or whatever. I'm thinking the timeline for that, we've got to purchase the fencing materials. Once we know where this is gonna be and what the measurements are and all that kind of stuff, we'll know then how much we need of all the fencing material. And then Public Works is gonna be putting that in. We're thinking it's probably gonna be late August into September, just because of, their schedule. They've got so much, and I've been taking up a lot of their time with a lot of park projects. So I know, Emmanuel, you and I had discussed possibly having Boys and Girls Club come out and do some work there, but I think the time schedule that this has slipped to, I think we're just gonna have to, the guys are just gonna have to go out there and just, take care of it and do it and get it in, as quickly as possible. And it's gonna be the same quality as the fence that's out there behind Food Lion. And it's gonna be beautiful. It is. So that's gonna be exciting. I'm hoping that once they can start on it, that it won't take longer than, 2 weeks. But again, that's all gonna depend on the overall size of it, what they have to do in their, I wanna say their regular job, but their regular public works job, not just parks stuff. And weather, of course, is gonna play a factor in that. But that'll be exciting to get that opened. We'll have very basic amenities, like I said, dog waste station, benches, I think just one on each side for now. And then tree logs and stumps until we can get the store-bought, hoops and ramps and jumps and all that stuff. Yeah. So,
That'll be fantastic.
yes, it will. Be excited to bring that up. Yeah.
One problem,
What's that?
since the dog park is gonna be grass,
I know.
how are they gonna mow?
The gates will be large enough to get in.
Okay.
Yeah, the gates are gonna have to be large enough for a 6-foot deck mower to get in. Now, they're still gonna have to do some, weed whacking in there around the logs and stumps and benches and stuff like that.
Okay,
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Well, and that's provided that hopefully the grass will remain growing in there, because I know at some dog parks, especially the smaller you get, the more stress that grass takes then because of what the dogs are doing in there. So some dog parks have had to close one side and only have the other side open while they seed and, get that grass started back up again, and then vice versa, what have you. So that's why I'd like for it to be big enough so that's not going to be a big issue with that, so.
Okay.
Anybody else? No. All right, so you're done.
That is it. That's all I have.
That's plenty, no doubt about it. All right, so, all right, Councilwoman Fuller's not here tonight, so, just board member comments. Do you have anything, Bill?
I think I've made all of mine.
Okay, perfect. Ms.
I don't have
Cheney?
anything.
Mr. Harvey?
No, just some words of praise. I think all the events and everything are great. As you mentioned, I don't think anybody can say there's not things to do in Taneytown, because there's certainly plenty of things to do all summer, so it's very exciting.
Yes.
It really is. And, I know I sent an email, but I do want to thank each and every single one of you for your time. And I know you have families and lives, and, you took time, basically a full day to spend with us at the Wine Fest. And I think that's where we need the most volunteers anyway. So thank you so much.
Yes. Yeah, I
for all
appreciate that
your
as well.
time and energy, and we greatly appreciate it.
That was definitely a true boots on the ground
It was.
event, and everything that you put into it was very much appreciated, and especially on such a hot day.
So yes, thank you to Lorena for making it happen, because I wasn't able to help you much this year as far as like planning, prepping. So you did it all, so thank you so much.
My pleasure. I hope that the community is enjoying it. I think that they are, I think
Yeah.
that That tide is turning. People are realizing now, oh,
Well,
okay, they're
right.
making changes, they're making improvements, they're putting on more events. This
I
is
also
good.
think too, because I think from years past, Taneytown lacked consistency. So if we're consistent, it may not be a successful event or
Right.
maybe up to
Yeah.
par is what we hope, but we're
Right.
consistent. We're not
Exactly.
gonna just be like, well, we tried and it didn't work.
Right.
So we're gonna try, we're gonna regroup, we're
Mm-hmm.
going to find a way to see if it gets better and then regroup from there and keep doing it until we get it perfect. So.
That's right, yeah.
So with that, for your lovely hard work, we are not going to have a meeting in July. So you guys get to rest, go on vacation, do whatever you want. It's a free month. I would like to, I'm not saying that we're gonna, in the near future, I would like for us to go back out to the parks again, just to get a
Ooh.
good visual on what's
Yes.
happening before, so I would like to see that happen. I don't know if we can make it happen with all of our schedules, but just a good visual.
Right,
It would be good to be like,
That would,
this
yeah.
is what's gonna happen here. Okay, and with that, then we are going to have our next meeting. Looks like it's scheduled for August 10th. That's gonna start at 6:30, and that's with TAA first, right? The Athletic Association?
no,
Or
July would have been the TAA.
July would have been?
Right, so now it's gonna be September for
September
them.
for okay.
Yes, yep,
All right, well then
Yeah.
it's just us in
it's
August.
just
then.
us in August,
At
yep.
6:30. All right, so with that, if we have nothing else to discuss tonight, I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right, second?
I will second.
All right, all in favor of adjourning until August, signify by saying aye. Aye. All right. Thank you. See you in August.
If not before.